Chris Phillips is live now into the weekend with Flashback Friday on the UK's #1 station, secondcityradio.net, and on the Second City Radio app for Android and iOS.
Second City Radio, the nation's #1 station. Busy show tonight. Later tonight, Mr. Peter Donegan will be on the show, of course. Looking forward to that, but not as much as I'm looking forward to my next guest, of course. He's on the radio now more than I am, and I host the show. Yeah, he's on all the time. He's going to take over in weeks to come. This show will be Duncan Norvelle show. He's on the phone. Good evening, Duncan.
Hello, Chris. How are you?
I'm very well, my friend. I've just been saying you're on the radio now more than me.
No.
It
was nice of you to get me back on, though. I mean, it's not long ago since I did the last one. It went so well.
Yeah, it did.
It's great to come back, though.
It was yesterday.
Yeah. I mean, it's great to be offered to come back on and talk to you again.
Well, listen, you're a popular guy. Before we start talking tonight, just to let you know that Duncan has a brand new Facebook page. You can go and locate it. Duncan Norvelle 2019 is where you need to head, whether you do that now or over the weekend. Duncan Norvelle 2019 for all the very latest news, the fastest news, and of course on that page Duncan will tell you how he's just scratched off a lottery card and won £4 million. Isn't that right, Duncan?
Yeah.
See?
If anybody's got the other half, yeah.
I've got it, Duncan. I've got it. Listen, they say that comedy kind of keeps continuing to grow. One thing I never spoke about with you last time you were on the show, who do you rate at the moment in the comedy world as you see kind of family orientated, a comedy show that you were going to see? We're talking about, people like your Peter Kays of this world, your Alan Carrs. Who at the moment would you say has got kind of that comedy success?
Well, you just said two of them. Peter Kay, obviously.
What is it about Peter Kay? What is it about Peter Kay that you do like, Duncan?
I think it's his accent. The way he talks. He's got the Bolton ling, and he's just good. And he's just funny, so comical, and he talks about everyday life, and he's just got a great sense of humour. I feel. If you watch Phoenix Nights, did you ever see that?
I did. I loved it.
Yeah, it was fabulous. And that was done in a working men's club in the North East or wherever it was. And it's so real how it was actually portrayed on the telly. It was fabulous, I mean, they've just come back with Only Fools and Horses.
Yes.
And put it into a stage play, which I'm sure is going to be fabulous. But I think as well, it'd be great if they did Phoenix Nights as a stage play.
Do you think it would work as a stage show, that, though?
Yeah, I do. I do if they did the stage out into a kind of a club, and then they brought on different acts, and they had like a concert chairman and two people at the back of the theatre talking all together. And then they're bringing on an act, like when he did it, he says, "All right, Jerry, is that the stripper tonight, Jerry? Is that the stripper?" I think I've seen her before, Jerry. Have you? Yeah, I think I've seen her before. She works at Greg's. So is that where you go for pies? Yeah, that's where I go for my pies, Jerry. I mean, I didn't pay £150 for my pies. Why should I pay £150 tonight to look at her? And I mean, on that type of lines, if you could write it so it was funny, I'm sure you could.
Well, you talk about Peter Kay. I mean, you're one of the original and best, of course. You've been around the circuit that long. You command respect for how long that you've been in the industry. But I think I'm not too sure about Alan Carr. I mean, I threw his name in there as somebody kind of who's a bit comedic.
I like him.
Yeah, but
nice.
Who's
the a nice camp sense of humour, and he's. I think he's okay, and he's not too blue. I mean, a lot of the alternate comedy acts, well, some of them, the Frankie Boyles and people like that, I feel are a bit too strong at times.
Yes.
Whereas I love Lee Evans. I mean, he would be on my comedy list straight away to go and see if you haven't seen him.
No, I've got to be honest. You mentioned Lee Evans there now, Duncan, and Lee Evans. I don't know what it is with me and Lee Evans. Just talking personally, he reminds me of Norman Wisdom. He just does.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
So
But,
is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Well, it's a good thing. Look how good Norman Wisdom
Yes.
was. And I mean, his memory lasts forever because he's made so many films, and they're still funny to this day.
Yeah, Mr. Grimsdale.
He was just a wonderful comedy actor, and he was good on stage. I mean, he had a great act on stage.
Well, one question that I didn't ask you last time. This is from Shelley in Aston, who knew you were back on the show tonight. She emailed me this, and this might be a bit difficult for you. Now, the question, you can pick anybody you like. You can't obviously pick yourself, Duncan, because obviously you're the head of the table. What 4 comedians, and it could be anybody you're choosing, whether it's now, previous, or those that have passed on, what 4 comedians would you put in your Duncan Norvelle comedy club to work with you in your own club night after night? Which 4 would you pick and why? Go for it, Duncan.
My first choice
Yes.
would have to be Ken Dodd.
Right, so why Ken Dodd? Explain why.
Because I knew him personally, and he was a wonderful guy. I met him in Blackpool many seasons ago, and I did Blackpool myself for 2 seasons.
Yeah.
And he used to be at the Grand Theatre on a Sunday, and he'd do 2 sell-out shows. And he was wonderful, you know, and he was a great guy, and I could learn by talking to him and watching him. And he always said to me, keep it clean, Duncan, and you'll always work. And the more you work, the better you'll get. And then the second one would have to be Frank Carson.
Right, so why Frank Carson? Because you've got a completely different... I mean, still family orientated, but Frank Carson, very different to Ken Dodd.
Yeah, I mean, I just like to see how they got on, really. That's why I put them 2 together.
Oh, right, okay.
Frank Carson never shuts up. And he was great, Frank. We had some wonderful times together.
So, see, with Frank Carson kind of delivered it straight, if that makes sense. He was always, straight into the gag.
Oh, yeah, he was straight there. He was... and that's a crazy, I went in a bar with him, and we were stood there, and I heard this fella shout, "Hey, Frank, lend us a favour." And I said, "Frank, he's talking to you." And he went, "I can't hear you." And this fella said, "Lend us a fiver, Frank." And he says, I said, "Frank, he's talking." He said, "Well, you lend him a fiver." He knew, he could hear him, but he was like, "Hang on a minute, type of thing. You give it to him." That's the kind of person Frank was,
Did you sit there and watch Frank Carson do his show live? Did you watch a full show from Frank Carson?
No, I got a headache. I watched him all the way through.
So are you watching these people as a punter, or are you watching it to get ideas for yourself? That's the question.
In the early days, to get ideas or get a style.
Yes.
Each comic's got to have his own kind of style, his delivery. I mean, I'd also add to the table, I would add Lee Evans, because I think he's wonderful.
So Lee Evans will be your number 3, will he?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the 4th one would be a guy called Mickey Pugh.
Right, now you'll have to explain to me about Mickey Pugh. Who is Mickey Pugh?
Mickey Pugh is a comedian from London.
Right.
He is in his early 60s. And he's never actually made it on television because we haven't seen him on there, but he's a writer of gags.
Right.
He writes for a lot of famous people, and yet he's never been given the chance, really, to do his own comedy on telly. I mean, if he was on live at the Apollo, he'd be a star the next week. Or if he did the Palladium, he'd be a star.
Well, why do you think he didn't get his own show? I mean, if you're rating him in your top 4, you must really rate this guy.
Yeah, I do rate him, yeah.
So why didn't he get on TV? What do you think that is?
I don't know. Nobody really knows. I mean, I never had my own show on telly. I'd love to have had my own show. I'd love to get back on telly, but we're not the people at the moment. Comedy's changed, and our comedy isn't for everybody.
Well,
everybody's got their own opinion, Chris.
Yeah, but I've got to disagree with it slightly, because you saw I think it was last year where they took a bunch of people over to Las Vegas. You must have saw that with Mick Miller.
Yes. Yeah, I did, yeah.
Now, I could see you at some point doing something like that, because I think it'll return, and I think they'll be looking for people like you to go out there and try your stuff in Las Vegas. Would you do it if you were offered?
Yes, I think I would, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I would, yeah.
No.
And even I'd just go there because Jess Conrad lost his pyjamas, so I probably want to get him and bring him back to him, because he's in the water rats like I am. And he keeps moaning about his pyjamas. He left them in Vegas, And,
well, there's a couple of things I've got to pick you up on here, because there's one person I thought you might have put in your top 4, but you didn't. And we're talking Les Dawson, because Les Dawson was great. You got to admit that.
Yeah, but I've only picked 3.
No, you've picked Ken Dodd, Frank Carson, Lee Evans, and Mickey Pugh. You've picked. So we'll have to put the reserve team on now. So we'll have to have a couple of people on the reserve team. So Les Dawson, because somebody just because somebody just mentioned Les Dawson. Did you get on with Les Dawson in between your filming on Blankety Blank?
Oh yeah, we had some right laps. I played golf with him once in a charity golf match in Blackpool at the Devere Hotel.
Right.
And it was for, I think it was for the actor from Dallas. Oh my God! Howard Keel.
The Howard Keel Classic.
Yeah, yes. That's it. And Les was he'd got his own team, and I'd got my own team, and we were stood on the first tee. Now, to the right of the first hole, there's a driving range with a lake.
Right.
And they put a net over the lake, and once a year, they drag the net in and get all the balls back from the driving range,
I'm with you, yeah.
Because they didn't have the room to actually build a driving range down, hitting it across into a field. So they thought we could put it there and they could hit the ball into the lake and we'll get the balls back by putting a man-made net across. So that's what we decided to do. Well, I was down at the tee and Les had just come in at the bar. He'd had a few scotches and he stood on the tee. And I said, "You go first then, Les." He says, "Yeah, all right. Where's my team?" And he's got the professionals playing with him. And two gentlemen made up the 4-ball. And they said, "All right, Les, you go first." So Les says, "Okay." And he put his ball on his tee peg, went back, got his driver. He had a couple of practice swings, which he missed. And I thought, hang on, this is going to be fun. Anyway, when he did connect with the ball, he what they call sliced it.
Yes. And
it went straight over the net into the lake on the driving range. And they said, "Oh, I'll play 3 off the tee." So he put another one down and hit that across as well. Well, the other 2 had teed off in between, and the professional had teed off. So Les is the only one who hasn't hit the ball yet down the fairway. So he puts one more down, and he takes a swing, and he hits that. And it goes over into the driving range again. Anyway, he turned round to his tee after he'd hit 7 balls into the lake. And he turned round to the professional, who's standing with the other 2 members, and he says, "It's a hard course, this, isn't it?" It's a hard course. He hadn't even got off the tee. And in front of us was Norman Collier.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
You know, I'd got Norman Collier in front of me, and I'd got Les Dawson behind me. So that was a hell of a day. It was so funny. But no, I had some great times with Les as well.
So you put Les in there. Now here's a couple of blasts from the past for you, of course, because I'm picking your brain side because you're the legend. You know all this information. Let me quickly go through some names. Jimmy Tarbuck. Did you ever spend any time with Tarby?
No, not really, but I know of him. We've paths have crossed a few times. I've played in a few of his charity golf days, which have always been good.
Bruce Forsyth.
Bruce Forsyth. No, not really. No.
Nicholas Parsons, I know that you've been in the company of.
Yeah,
I'm being asked about Nicholas
he's
Parsons.
just become our King Rat.
Oh.
Because of the, what do you call it?
Because of the rats, the water rats, yes, of course.
He was initiated the King Rat last Sunday.
That's great. That is good. That's good news.
Wonderful, yeah. Yeah, he's 95 and he's still doing that just a minute.
Well,
he's still as quick as can be, and he can hold our lodge together. We have what you call a lodge meeting.
Well, I've got an email here. This is from the lovely Samantha, who's listening in Bristol. She was listening to the show last time you were on. Duncan, the very first time I saw you, I fell in love with you. I have never married anybody since that doesn't come up to your expectations. I feel that you need to marry me now. Leave your wife, as I think we have a future together. Chase me. Oh my God, chase me.
Oh my God. Well, I wish I could, but I can't run now, can I?
Good evening to Lewis tonight. Lewis writes, during the course of your career, what is the one thing you let slip by?
I let slip by?
Yes.
A blind date, I think.
Yeah, we spoke about Blind Date, of course, and it wasn't called Blind Date when you did the pilot, was it?
No, it was called It's a Hoot. It came from America, and I adapted the show with the help of some people in Chinese television, and we changed the show, the format, and we called it Blind Date. And unfortunately, I didn't let it slip by. They decided to go with Cilla Black. Bless her.
Well, this is good that I've got here. I can understand this. They've just remade Laurel and Hardy into a film.
I know.
They think that you would have been a perfect cast member to play Ollie. Right or wrong?
Yeah, I can actually do the face of it. Yeah.
I know you can. I know this. I know. That's why it's a good question. Here's another one for you. This is from the lovely Shelby. Shelby, thanks for tuning into the show. You're a wonderful girl. If there's anything you would like to achieve in the future, now you've got to listen to these choices correctly, Duncan. Would it A, to be on stage and sing? Would it B, to be in a soap opera? And what soap opera would that be? Or would it be C, just to have good health and a few gigs on the road every year? Would it be A, to sing, B, to star in a soap opera, and which soap would you like to go in, or C, just take it easy and do the odd couple of shows as and when you wanted? Which one is that for you?
Oh, well, I think really, I love to sing. I'd love to get right back to singing.
No. Wrong answer. I want to be hearing you want B, soap opera, and you want to be Phil Mitchell's big brother. That's what I'm waiting for.
No, not really. I mean, I could go on Coronation Street. I mean, I can't believe it at the moment. Peter's boat burned down.
Yeah.
I will take that. I've got to watch the second half to find out who did it. And, I mean, Chesney, I can't believe he's having more luck with ladies than I do. He's ginger and all. I can't believe not that I got out against ginger people, but to be honest with you, I mean, he's got two after him. Takes some believing that doesn't it?
I could just see you in EastEnders because when you went to beat, because I know you could be quite aggressive if you wanted to be, Duncan. You could be people would say, chase me. And when you
I could play that part.
No. What about working behind the Queen Vic, all the Rovers return? Here's your pie and pint. Something like that.
Yeah, I could do that.
That would work.
I mean, there again, if I was in Coronation Street, I'd get Anthony Cotton chasing me all the time, wasn't it?
Well,
Sean.
Well, we're going to give you some quick-fire questions now on Second City Radio. I devised this especially for you tonight, Duncan. So, of course, the right answer is the answer that you come up with. So I'm going to give you a list of choices, and you've got to just say to me which one you go for. Elvis Presley or Neil Diamond?
Neil Diamond.
What? You're not an Elvis fan? What?
Yeah, I love Elvis, but I love Neil Diamond's music as well.
Steak and kidney pie or chicken and mushroom?
Steak and kidney.
A jacket or a leather jacket?
A jacket.
Shoes or trainers?
I just bought a pair of trainers, but I think I prefer shoes. Yeah.
Cash or cards?
Cash.
Now be careful of this one. I'm looking forward to this one. Lots of women or one woman?
One woman that looks like lots of women.
Nah, you can't have that. That's sitting on. You can't have that just because your wife is sitting there. That's no good to me. You got to say lots.
I went to Thailand once.
Go on.
Right, and I had 3 in the bed, and I thought I'd won the lottery. We've got 6 balls between us. Sorry, it's a bit too real, but it's funny.
Right, tennis or ping pong?
Tennis.
Bruce Forsyth, I know he's come up already. Bruce Forsyth or Les Dawson?
Les Dawson.
Coffee in the morning in bed or coffee at night in the bed?
Coffee in the morning in bed.
Sex before breakfast or after breakfast?
Not bothered.
Yeah, edging your bets there, Mr. Duncan Norvelle. Okay, so
I've got to tell you, Valentine's Day. God, what time I had there! I was going down the high street. I thought I've got to get to some flowers, and I saw in this shop they got some roses.
Right.
So I thought I'd get 2 dozen red roses.
Okay, nice.
Which I did in the end. And I went in, and the woman behind the counter, she said, "Can I help you?" I said, "Yeah, can I have a couple of dozen red roses?" She says, "This is a circumcision clinic." I said, "You got red roses in your window?" She says, "What do you want me to put in the window, love?" So I got the wrong place, but this is true, this is gospel true. So I went to see my mum. I had to take her back yesterday because she's had a couple of days with us. And I took her back to Leicester. And when we got back home, the flowers I ordered had arrived. And I got some Thornton chocolates and a card. And I gave them to her that night when we got back. So last night we went to bed. And in the morning, I put my arm around her to give her a quick cuddle, because I always do in the morning. And anyway, she turned around to look at me, and she's got no teeth. She's got a bridge, and they fell out on the pillow next to her. Honestly, threatened me to death. She's here laughing. She don't think I'd tell you that. Yeah, honestly. It tripped me to death. I thought, bloody hell. And I thought, so she's been and had the bridge done, and that cost £145 to have it concreted. One of the posts had gone or something. And she's had it concreted. I thought, I mean, I should have forgot about the flowers and just treated her to the bridge.
That is so funny. So funny.
I know. Well, funny when you're saying that. Somebody said to me once, "Have you ever looked at your wife's face when you're making love?" I said, "It did," and I said, "It ripped me to death." I said, "Mind you, she was 40 foot up a ladder looking through the window at the time."
Right, listen, we're gonna talk about a couple of things. Before we do, just to give everybody an announcement live on the radio tonight, that Duncan is going to be back for a third time, but the show that we're going to be doing, I'm very excited about, will be a real in-depth look at Duncan's life, of course, from the places he's appeared. We're going to be asking about the areas that he's been in, what he thought of those areas.
Can I just say a big hello to my daughter, Yasmin, in Blackpool? She's listening. She's told all her friends to listen.
Yasmin, good evening, Yasmin. It'll be the first and last time you're listening to this rubbish, I'll tell you, even though your dad's on.
She does food. We've got one of these vans that's all kitted out to do sandwiches and that, you know. And what's it called?
Yasmin to go.
Yasmin to go.
Well, Yasmin, nice plug there. I like your style. Yasmin to go. I will have. Hang on a second. I'm putting my order in now, Duncan. You shouldn't have mentioned it. Yasmin, I would like cheese and pickle sandwich. Packet of Walker's Crisp, please, and a can of Tizer. And because it's Friday, if you can also bring me a Twix, deliver it to Birmingham right now, and I will give you a shout out for a week. Get your skates on to Birmingham. You've got to be here before the...
Here's a quick one for you.
Yeah.
A very quick one. The other night I went down my local pub for a drink.
Yeah.
Well, all the lads, you know, they're great down there, and they were, you know, we played darts and muck around.
Yeah.
Well, I must have had one or two too many, because I couldn't remember how I got home. But they always make sure I get back. So they put me in my wheelchair, they pushed me back, and I woke up in the morning, 7:30 in the morning, to the noise of next door's lawnmower.
Right.
And I thought, should I get up and tell him to turn it off or pack it in?
Right.
Bloody noisy thing. Then I thought to myself, sod him, he can mow round me.
Brilliant, Duncan, brilliant. Right, so listen, before I was rudely interrupted regarding your lovely daughter, we are doing a special show, of course, for Duncan. We're going to play some of his favourite tracks, not his tracks, but some of his favourite tracks throughout the course of the year, and I'll be bringing you that show in the next couple of weeks. Really looking forward to that. I also need to mention, of course, that Duncan has a brand new Facebook page called Duncan Norvelle 2019. Now, earlier we played one of his tracks from your album. Do you want to tell people where they can get this album from?
Yes, my page is up and running, as you know, and it just puts everything that I'm doing at this time in, and I've got lots of clips on there from all the shows.
Yes.
So what I'm going to do, my album, I'm putting it onto a CD now,
yes,
instead of downloads, because I think it's a bit more personal when you get the CD with a picture on. And I'm going to put a comedy CD in there as well.
Wow.
Of one or two of me shows that people can buy the two then.
So watch this space. We can't give you on the air at this stage give you a price, because we can't do that, because I need to verify that. But Duncan's album and a very special comedy CD will be available. The best way to find that information is to check out the Duncan Norvelle page 2019 on Facebook, and when the information's available, no doubt, Duncan,
I'll let you know.
Absolutely. I need to mention, Duncan, before we go tonight, a couple of things. You've got a few shows coming up. Is there anything, with the help of your lovely wife, that you can tell us about now before I let you go?
Yes, I've got a show in Gainsborough.
Right.
And it's in June the 1st. I'm doing
June the 1st.
That is.
Where's that one?
Scarborough.
That's in Scarborough.
Scarborough, lovely Scarborough.
Yeah. And that's at the YMCA Theatre in Scarborough.
YMCA Scarborough.
Yeah. Then the 4th of June.
The 4th of June.
4th of June in Coventry with Vince.
In Coventry, a big charity show.
Yeah, that's with Vince Hill, isn't it?
That's with Vince Hill, yeah. You're coming along to that, because I'm going to get you to talk to Vince.
That will be, okay, yeah, that's fine. That will be a great gig with Vince Hill and friends, of course. And where's that again?
That's at Coventry. At the what theatre is that?
It's an afternoon show.
It's an afternoon show.
Wow, that'll be fantastic.
We put the details on the page.
I'm going to put all the details on my page. Then I'm in Gainsborough.
Yep.
Saturday the 6th of June.
Okay.
And that's going to be at the Tea Rooms in Gainsborough. It's a lovely tea rooms where they have meals, and it's a cabaret room as well. It's lovely atmosphere there.
I've only ever been to Gainsborough once, but it is a nice place, Gainsborough.
Yeah, Gainsborough's lovely.
Well, listen, there's going to be loads more information, of course. The only way, guys, you're going to get to see this is head over to Duncan Norvelle 2019. There's classic clips going up virtually every day. Pictures, clips, comedy, bits and bobs, all on the Duncan Norvelle page.
It's a very popular page, you know.
It is. But I want to reveal tonight, exclusively as the boss of the station, Duncan will be back for a very special hour.
Sorry, Chris, I'm also putting in because I'm also doing the Saga.
Yes, the Saga cruise.
For Saga this year and the whole of next year, which would be great. I love doing the boats.
So the
Saga is different. I'll be the only one with my own hips.
So the Saga will be a fantastic chance to enjoy a cruise and Duncan at the same time. All the details for this will be on, as I said again, on the Duncan Norvelle Facebook page 2009. Go and get yourself over there, take a look at that. Some great information. But as I said, Duncan, you're going to be back with me in a couple of weeks' time with a very special show with a mixture of Duncan's music and more chit-chat and fun. Sadly tonight, Dunkaroonies, we're out of time because coming up... Yeah.
Can I just say, you've got my fellow brother Waterat coming on, Pete.
Peter Donegan in half an hour, yes, he's on.
Yeah, and I'll let him tell you about it, but we've done this song. He'll tell you all about it, and it's for the homeless, and it'd be great if people download that because there's homeless people everywhere, and I think it's great that we've got together with a lot of stars and done this. I mean, the Mayor of London thinks it's wonderful, apparently.
Well, I do, and I'll tell you how wonderful it is. We played it on the breakfast show this morning, and we're about to play it directly at the end of this chat.
Oh, great. And the Mayor of London, I mean, he's helped. He's decided to give 3 bus passes to the homeless.
Well, is that true? Is that true?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's wonderful, that. I mean, when will they know when to get off? Hey? I just thought I'd throw that in.
You've just got me.
Peter will tell you about it anyway.
Well, no, he will, because I will get him to mention you on the show tonight. He's on live in half an hour if you can stick around and have a listen for that. It sounds to be interesting. Duncan, have a great weekend and your lovely wife, and I will speak to you no doubt very soon. If you just stay where you are just for a second. And for everybody else...
Quickly, what colour does a Smurf go if you strangle it?
Quick, tell me!
I'm asking you.
Oh, listen, it's been magical. 35 minutes gone just like that. Duncan mentioned this a couple of minutes ago, of course, the homeless worldwide. He ain't never easy, my brother. You're live with Chris, it's 3 minutes past 9. Peter Donegan, 25 minutes away. It's Chris on your Friday.
Chris Phillips is live now into the weekend with Flashback Friday on the UK's #1 station, secondcityradio.net, and on the Second City Radio app for Android and iOS.